all those teeth, it turned from playing to serious.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what I was seeing is
Yeah.
it's all, you know, that didn't just happen out of nowhere. You see how good I am at getting it out, because I know
Yeah.
how they want to do it with each other. And if you go onto a dog's back end and they go like this, you're like, oh, there it is.
Yeah.
There's your bite, and then it's just a matter of, are they going to bite or not? And he's going to.
Yeah.
He's going to go to the bathroom. Doesn't mean it's a bad dog, it just means you need to be able to handle it.
No, it means he.
I would take a dog like this and turn him into something pretty good.
It definitely doesn't mean he's a bad dog. It means he's natural.
It's
that is
normal.
naturally what they are as predators.
Yeah. It's more normal for a dog to bite than not.
Right. We've
Yeah.
domesticated them. We can't have a dog living in our house thinking it's okay to bite.
It's not okay.
But it is what they naturally do to each other to communicate.
He doesn't have a bite on his history, on his record, because
It's been avoided.
it's been avoided.
Yeah.
In situations where you say no and he keeps up, and then you have this confrontational moment, you back down, you're not going to see it. If you don't back down, he's going to give you a nice wham.
Yeah.
Right? And that's normal. That's how you settle the dispute, the hierarchical dispute. And then a dog is submissive to you, which means then you can tell what to do and what not to do. But until you have that fight over hierarchy, he's not going to give it to you. No dog will. And they're designed that way.
Yep.
Unless you get a genetical gem, right? And they're like easygoing, you know, cupcake dog. If you got an average dog or a difficult dog, there's a fight in there. And doesn't mean they have to bite, they can just throw a fit, but you know, I would say, how many do you think bite? Half or more? More than half bite, yeah. Okay. Because that's a normal response. Come. Hi. There you go. The commitment there, that's when I stop. He's like, will you stop? And I'm like, yes, I will. As soon as you commit.
And he knew the entire time what you wanted.
Yeah.
The
But I
entire
want
time.
commitment. We talk about effort. I want commitment whenever I give it. And so this will produce it. He said that one worked. That one was successful where I gave him commitment, then he stopped. Right? So you can reward which one you like. That's the one that works right there. That works. And so early on, I'm consistent with that. Well, that's the one that works. It just becomes the behavior. Okay. Good. Because you see, he has all these options. He's running this way. He's running around. He's going past. He's learning right here in center, sitting down, being calm. See, that's important. Looking up at me. That's the successful behavior, and that's the one that I like. Good boy. It's a good boy. Oh, your baby, who is just the most beautiful boy. I don't want to lay down, but he's doing great. And it's fine. Break.
Woo!
Break.
Monkey! Good boy! Not as much mouthing anymore.
This is where he got snappy.
See what Josh is doing, you guys? This is what dogs do to each other. They want to sniff the rear end. We're looking at his response. Is he going to come back around with his teeth?
Baby. What a good baby.
This should be done on day one
Wow.
with trainers at training before commands.
What a specimen.
He's
He's letting me do it. This is what I wanted. This is the coping mechanism that he needed to learn, to just hold still and let me do whatever I'm doing. Like another dog would sniff him, I'm gonna. See that blow on his rear end? That simulates the same trigger that he gets when a dog's sniffing back there. And you see him rip his head up and point his gun at me, point his only weapon, his teeth, right at me. And then if I disagree with that, the temperament of the dog is either going to then submit or they're going to fight and then submit if you're successful at getting through that. So he chose fight and flight. He chose flight first. Then when fleeing wasn't an option because I kept recalling, he chose fight. This is normal animal behavior, normal dog behavior. We avoid it, like not me, but people avoid those conversations, and therefore they can never create a true follower. in their pack. Dogs are pack oriented. This is why I love them. A human can lead them. You can lead a pack of dogs, but you have to know how to maintain your position. What's disrespectful from the dog and how to deal with it, okay? And so, of course, when I meet him, I want to have the same conversations that a dog would have with him, and I'm able to trigger those. And so, it's a ritual, and after this ritual, we have an orientation to each other. The relationship dynamic has been set, right? So now I can move forward with him. You know, he's more likely to listen to me now because we went through the ritual of settling a dispute, a hierarchical dispute, like who gets to set the tone here, who gets to call the shots. Okay, good. It's a good boy. But the way we did is we let him, you know, it's not the safest way to do. Neither is any dog whispering techniques, really. But
Don't try this at home.
The results are incredible.
Yes.
And it's a very natural way to get the results. You have the disagreement, that hierarchical dispute that you're dealing with every day, and that's what's causing you all the stress. Maybe you know it, maybe you don't know it. We have that conversation. So let's talk about that. Okay. All right. Good. And then he gets rewarded for a follower's mind, being submissive, being passive, being respectful. He gets rewarded for that. So he says, "Oh, that's what they want," and that becomes the alternative state, and that has alternative behaviors associated to it as we teach them. And so we have a dog who knows how to go into this very domesticated, respectful follower mentality. All right, and that's more important than the commands, but it is complemented heavily and very nicely when you do command training on top of it. Okay.
Look at
This
him.
is my good boy, and he's experiencing success right now. This is success. It's like if I just let him touch me back here, which is going to lead to the paws and everything, then there is no fight. But if I try to strike at him, then there's a fight, you know? So he learned, me striking at him is what caused us to go at it. And then I put him in the same situation. He didn't strike. He realized there was no disagreement. And I just said, good boy. And he said, so just let this guy do what he wants to do and just kind of listen to him a little bit and show him respect? Yes. And he's like, okay, I got it. All right? But this is one experience on top of many that will be stacking on top of each other. By the end of the week, you know, him and I will have a communication with commands, and he'll be my follower in my pack, and I'll be able to start taking him off property and doing, you know, we'll do the setups first and the controlled experiences, but then we'll actually go out into the world together. I would not be attempting that if I did not have a follower, and I would not have a follower if I did not deal with the disputes that we have on a daily basis. Okay, you know, you try to put a leash on a dog, and he's gonna let you put a leash. That right there's a sign, you know, dog's not listening to you. For me, with him, he was jumping on me and stuff, which is enough of a disrespect. But the one I was going for that I noticed was that if I touched him in the rear end or like blew on his rear end when he wasn't looking, he'd come back like intensely. And I said, there's where the problem is going to be for me today to find. Because then I can choose which conversation to have. You know, we could have it over, sometimes I could have it over claiming a dog or claiming food. This one was just me and you greeting and how we treat each other when we're in our personal space. And I triggered him to strike at me by blowing on his rear end. And then he came back like this, and I came and touched it again, and he put his mouth on me. You know, like not in a bite, but to tell me to knock it off. And then I corrected him for that, shush, and tap on the e-collar, and then he came back at me. And then we just had our little exchange, and it ended with him running away and another recall and then settling down. And then I let it all settle for a little while, and then I let him back up and repeat the experience, and we got what we want. There's no way that I have found around, in order to gain an actual follower, which most people will never experience, there's no way around having those hierarchical disputes, and they're settled in nature through conflict. Now, we're programmed to not have conflict with our dogs, to just reward the hell out of them and try to avoid situations that cause these conflicts. But that leaves us unable to have that hierarchical conversation, which means, if you don't know what I mean, it means that he's going to listen to me because I said something in the future. If I say do it, he'll do it. If I say stop, he'll stop, because of these types of experiences. That's how it works in a pack. That's how it works in nature. He is nature. And so avoiding that, you won't ever get the full follower. You'll get an okay, maybe 75%, but to get a dog who's actually there, best way to know is to find somebody who actually has that relationship with a dog and feel that dog and see how that dog feels versus your dogs, and then you can say, oh, okay, so we're not there, right? Okay. Break.
I love how he just assumed that he shouldn't get up until you release
I
him
loved it.
because he's starting to change.
It's our relationship starting to change. Me, that's what's really the magic that you're feeling when you watch the thing from start to finish. Look what he's doing to me. He's offering me his ass now. I mean, that is him saying, you can have it now. But before, it was a game of keep away, keeping the ass away from me, because that's what he would do with another dog. He doesn't want to be sniffed in the first interaction. He wants to do the sniffing. Now it's different, and he's being heavily rewarded. For one, he's being rewarded because there is no confrontation now. So the contrast of there was one 10 minutes ago to there isn't one now in the same situation and me touching behind, that's rewarding, right? That's negative reinforcement. Also, I'm petting him and we're bonding, right? So, good boy. So all of a sudden, these pets mean a lot more. And they mean something a little different. It doesn't mean go crazy, right? It's respect.
I've never seen him so still with a person.
Well, he doesn't have a leader, you know? Yes, and this is no disrespect to the owner, because this is like this with every dog that comes in here. The leaders that they have now are able to keep them well fed and somewhat safe, although management slips from time to time and we have moments. But we're not able to actually get them to listen to us. And because that takes going through the bullshit, you know? And that takes experience. I mean, Julie, you would say that would take experience. You wouldn't have somebody who's never done it before just jump in, although you gotta start somewhere, you know? Unless you have aspirations of being a dog trainer or you are a dog trainer, I wouldn't attempt the process. I would just simply look for a reputable dog trainer to work with to get this process done. Once the process is done, then we can transfer everything over to the owners and everything's smooth, as long as the owners are, able to have that leadership mentality. But the species barrier has been broken. He's now a follower to a human 100% for the first time. He will be. I have to create that first, and then it's much easier to give that to the owners, that level of respect. So I would totally just get a reputable
He's getting
trainer.
your scent.
He's getting my scent because he realizes that he should probably remember me because I'm pretty relevant. All right? Okay. And now he's also saying me and him can, but look, he's usually way more crazy. So I'm going to start telling him the little things that I don't like with his affection and things I do like with his affection. So that he can understand how I want our ritual of me petting on him to go. Currently, if you pet him, he's
oh my god,
he's
I've never seen this dog hold still for more than 1/100 of a second. At the drop off with his owner, it was constant zigzagging, jumping, pulling, crazed.
You know what's funny is I have a lot of experiences with dogs just like this.
I can't even walk him from the owner's car to our yard.
No,
I feel unsafe.
It's dangerous. It's dangerous.
You saw me that one day.
Forget it. Oh yeah, I was worried about you. But what's good about a dog like this is he's definitely going to have limitations as far as because of what he is, But this is actually he kind of fits into the category of a dog that I would bring home. Because these kind of dogs are great. And this is not something I would encourage the owners to do, but I would do this. He would be kind of my guard dog.
Yeah.
He'd be in my living room so that if you try to break in, you see him first. But he'll have all sorts of rules and boundaries so that he doesn't become a pain in my ass on a daily basis, because I'm not having that. He'll find his groove in my life, but I probably won't. If he was mine, I probably wouldn't be bringing him out the stores and stuff and out to.
No, and she doesn't want to do that.
He would just be he would love it though, and we'd go for hikes and we'd go into the water and we'd have our life. But no disrespect, I would be shutting that down. And to understand, I know everyone says, well, yeah, shut down disrespect, but what is disrespect? And that's something that we should probably cover more. As soon as the dog's in my personal space, if they're jumping on me or trying to get something out of me, some type of interaction out of me without me offering it, that's disrespectful when it comes to the dynamic of pack member and leader, right? They can do it to each other. They'll do it to each other. The middle of the road pack members, they'll initiate play. But I don't let my pack members come up to me and initiate something. They're all taken care of. Their potty breaks are all taken care of because they're on a schedule. We don't need them to tell us. He doesn't need to tell me when he's hungry. He doesn't need to tell me when he wants to play. He doesn't need to tell me anything. If he tries to tell me something, in this phase of our relationship, because he's not my guard dog yet, right? He's not in my family yet. During this process, he's going to learn that don't bug me. I'll tell you when, where, and how. Don't bug me. And that's a good relationship to have, because later on, he takes me seriously, I make him part of my family, I can ease up a little bit and we'll be fine. Because I can always tighten back up because he remembers, he has memories of me and him going down that road already, so we're good. But if I avoid those conversations altogether, then we get what he is now. That's what you get. All the clients that come in here with the dogs, you're seeing the dog, how it will turn out if it doesn't have this ritual done with the humans that it lives with, the ritual of the pack of figuring out the pecking order. All these mixed signals are sent to the dog. It's not their fault that they are equal or above us in the household or in the pack. And so they act that way. And that's it. That's really where all the problems are coming from. So, okay. So far, genetically speaking, it's I would say it's pretty normal for the breeds put together. Nothing that concerns me too much. Hyper and no impulse control. That would be the thing. Like no impulse control, hyper, and really big. That's a problem, right? Also, he does bite. You know, if you put him under pressure and you're having a conflict with him, and he doesn't. Let's say it this way. He struck at me because I don't think he's ever been put in that situation. So naturally, he strikes. Now that we've had that, I put him in the situation again right afterwards, and I watch him submit instead of striking. Literally, look at the situation and say, "I'm not striking. I'm going to submit," and then I reward him. That's an alternative behavior, right? Biting is the behavior, or he could just turn around and ignore. And he's learning, turning around and ignoring and letting me do what I got to do is successful. So now within this interaction, he's learned the way out of conflict with me is to submit. I have to teach him that with the e-collar. Otherwise, I could correct him all day, and if he doesn't know how to submit, he's just going to get corrected and not know what to do. He needs to know that his mind needs to just relax and wait. So this was huge. This was huge. He's a good boy. I definitely want to give this to a first-time dog owner, and I definitely want to give it to somebody who doesn't have experience. Yeah, for sure.
I don't know how she lived with him for a year.
I mean, I want to give Riggins to somebody who didn't have experience with a first-time dog.
Well,
that's
why he went through 3 homes before finding me.
It's not like they're bad dogs. Right?
No.
He's got a bunch of habits because he just thought about putting his mouth on me again,
Yeah.
but not in a playful way. But he uses his mouth with everything to disagree or to be playful, or so I gotta adjust his collar a little bit. Honestly, it's alright.
He eats everything in the house too, especially anything plastic.
I'm sure he gets bored a lot, and I'm sure he's got high drive, but he gets tired quicker because of this big frame. But he's got that shepherd brain in there too. You can see it and you can feel it. Wait, so he's shepherd and mastiff?
50% German Shepherd.
Okay.
Dad was a German Shepherd.
Straight up.
50% Pit Bull. Mom is an extra large Pit Bull. I have pictures of them both.
Yeah.
And he is the largest litter mate of the entire litter.
Here's the good news, man, is like pitties make great followers, and if you get a shepherd done right, they'll make a good follower too, so it's in there, I'm sure. And he's looking like he's gonna fall into place just fine. But you have to have that, like, you have to have those conversations. And I think deep down everybody knows that. Yeah. That's why dogs are sent to professionals, balanced dog trainers who are gonna have these conversations. They're not just gonna reward them for the right thing, but they're also gonna go after those things that they know are under the hood that everybody knows makes this dog a liability, and they're going to go after those conversations and start to make the dog stop choosing those behavioral responses and finding another successful one, which is behavior modification, right? And that's what we're doing here, mixed in with dog whispering, mixed in with the e-collar use, and so, yeah, it's going to be very good. Okay, Floki, good boy. Break.
Woo!
We have a lot to go through with him, like even when he's off, like just taking a pet right there, he stopped himself and he's starting to go and say, this is huge, this is big, right?
Oh, good boy, he's handsome.
Yes, he is. I gotta be able to, look at the influence on him.
Look at him getting your scent.
Watch. Look at how soft he is with him now. I just told him this dog was not gonna sit for me before that conversation, and I did not touch the e-collar. It's just relationship. The dynamic has changed. In this moment, tomorrow I'm going to pick him up and do some more, and then the next day, as the weeks go by, you get a dog who's really, again, he's grabbing my scent, you're seeing it. It's not a coincidence, he's saying, I'm going to remember this guy. Hi.
He won't take his eyes
off you. He gets my smile, good boy, I love you, me and you are going to be a pack, right? And I'll show him what to do and what not to do and all that good stuff. But that was the big thing, is like, if he thought he could just be like, you know what, I don't like what we're doing right now, and you keep making me, I'm just going to leave. And then you say, well, you can't leave because I'm going to recall. And he says, well, if I can't leave, I'm just going to strike at you. Now he says, well, if I can't leave and I can't strike at you, what if I just submit and let you do it? And then he sees how happy I am with him for that, and then he's filled with pride. And then we start to change the dog's associations to being told what to do, to like, oh, this feels good to listen, versus like, I'm not fucking listening to you. Because that's how they come in. That's how they're programmed, right? They're naturally going to become that way if in their early life, when they're asked to do something, or if they're asked to stop to do something, it's not followed through properly. You know what I mean? Hi. Yes. How are you? You're a good boy. Good boy. You stay? He doesn't know what to do, but he's listening to my pressure on my foot here.
He's never stayed in his life.
That's a good boy. I'm so proud of you. There was no correction there, because I seen a dog whose mind was still willing to work with me. He made a mistake, but I did not correct it. Although you can correct, obviously just to bring attention to the error. I just happen to have this in my pocket. This is still mine that I'm not going to go unpunished, you know? So if he does get information, it'll be very low levels, just for information, say, no, that was wrong, but it won't be anything punishing. That's gonna come when he's being disagreeable with me. That's where, then, so that way we can get rid of those thoughts. He'll stop. The mind just hops there naturally because it's been so successful in the past. Once that becomes the unsuccessful response, and the successful response is listen to me, then we get the real change, okay? Because I'm not kidding, you know, you can program the dog's associations through proper experiences. You can create a belief system. A lot of dogs have belief systems that aren't accurate with reality. They have a lot of superstitions because they don't actually understand the world. Okay? All right, good boy, stay. Good. He said, did I do it? I said, yeah, you did. He said, that was it? Good, stay. Good. Oh my God, you can see the shepherd in there so much. You see the pity too, but that shepherd is there. Good. Good. He's like, I'm doing something. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing it right. Good boy. Good boy. Good. That was a hard part. Good. It's a Floki. Break.
Woo! Yay! He did it!
So I'm letting him know this is all okay still because I capped it. I capped the intensity, right? This intensity is fine given how intense I'm being, and he's on release. But notice he's not jumping, which he was the first time I did that, pawing at me and putting his teeth on me. Good. He's choosing, okay, so he'll let me roll against him. He'll let me sit here and pet him calmly. And those are successful in his eyes now, after this experience. Good boy. He took my scent, and he's looking at me a lot so that he remembers me, so that next time he sees me, he says, okay, this is my dynamic with this guy. These are the rules with this person. It's just how it works. Doesn't mean he's going to go treat Julie that way, unless she forms her own relationship. But it's hardest for me to do it first. The first person to do this, to create a follower, is going to have the tough job. I'll then transfer it to Julie. She'll then transfer it to Gabby. It'll be transferred to the owner. It's just the first time is really. And the only time it really fails is if owners go out of their way to just not be a good leader, not correcting disrespects, not correcting breaking boundaries or rules, and just letting it go. If you are on top of it, life's good. Honey boy, good boy, good boy. Hi, who's my guy? Okay, so now I'll claim a dog. So I'm gonna tie that here to roar. That's right. That's a good boy. That's a good boy.